Do you want a man for president who's seasoned through and through, but not so doggone seasoned that he won't try something new? A man who's old enough to know
and young enough to do.
Well, it's up to you, it's up to you. It's strictly up to you.
But it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy for me.
Kennedy,
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 Kennedy.
Do you want a man with spirit who is not afraid to fight?
A man whose record shows that he will fight for what is right.
A loyal man who'll bring the job a fresh new point of view. Well, it's up to you, it's up to you. It's strictly up to you.
Cause it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy for me.
Kennedy,
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 Kennedy.
And do you deny to any man the right he's guaranteed to be elected president, no matter what his creed?
It's promised in the Bill of Rights to which we must be true.
So it's up to you, it's up to you. It's strictly up to you.
And it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy for me.
Kennedy,
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 Kennedy.
Do you like a man who answers straight, a man who's always fair?
We'll measure him against the others, and when you compare, you'll cast your vote for Kennedy and a change that's overdue. So it's up to you, it's up to you, it's strictly up to you.
Yes, it's Kennedy, 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 Kennedy for me.
Kennedy, 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 Kennedy,
Welcome from my humble second bedroom here in the Saucon Valley, part of the Lehigh Valley in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Part of these United States for now, anyway. We'll see how long the United States are even still the United States. Well, I could argue that they're not the United States now, actually. North American continent, Western Hemisphere, on this planet Earth. The only one we have. Third rock from the sun in the Terran solar system, part of the Milky Way galaxy. This is TKE Tonight, the Kennedy Effect Tonight for the 29th of April 2025. The 29th of April 2025. It is darn near. When we talk to you again Thursday, it will be May already. My goodness gracious, it will be May already. I can hardly even... I mean, thank God it's going fast, because, I guess the only thing worse than fascism is slow fascism. The only thing worse than death is a slow, painful one, I suppose. So, it's just... I'm having broadcasting problems over here. The only good thing about it is that it's going quickly. Time it seems to be moving very quickly. As I put in the header of the program today, we're 100 days in to the new Fascist America. The good news about that is that at least 100 days of it are done. The bad news about that is 1,000 more days to go. I don't know. I'm sure I could do the math. George will do the math for me, probably. He will probably. And speaking of the man himself, he's joining the program as we speak. But yeah, I could try to do the math. But the good news, as I said, 100 days are done. There's 1,000 more left. Unless Trump dies in office, and I am not wishing for that. He has a family. There's people that care about him. He's going to be here for 4 years. And it's really that I think I wanted to talk about tonight. I think even more so than the fact that we're 100 days in. I want to talk about the media especially MSNBC, and to a lesser extent CNN. So there was about 5 opinion polls that came out on Monday, yesterday. Ipsos, Fox News, CNN, whoever CNN partners with, and I can't remember who that is. I can't name them all. There's about 5 or 6 polls that came out on Monday that show Trump's approval ratings. And those approval ratings are the lowest of any president in the modern era. And we say the modern era because the Sorry, gang. I'm getting messaged in the background because we were having technical problems before Georgia got here, but I got them solved on my own, believe it or not. So watch out for snow. So these polls show that Trump, we say the modern era in polling because there hasn't been polling in the entire history of the country. Polling is a much more of a modern phenomena, if you will. It began only in the 1900s. And opinion polling, political opinion polling. So Trump has the lowest opinion or approval ratings of any president at this point, of any second-term president, and of any president 100 days in. Some of them as low as 34, I think it is, percent. Some at 39, some at 41, depending on the issue that were being spoken about. And it seemed to me that MSNBC was really giddy about this. Really, really excited. The New York Times talked about it. The Washington Post, ironically. I think they might have been actually one of the pollsters. Fox News tried to downplay it and lie about it. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Because remember, Fox said under oath in court, they're not a news network. They're an entertainment network. And that anyone that trusts them for news is pretty stupid. They said that in court. Just never forget that. Never, never, never forget that. And, you know, we're watching MSNBC yesterday, and I'm sitting with Kristen, and it just occurred to me. I turned to her, and I bounce a lot of show-off ideas off of her, probably more than she's willing to do, but she's patient enough to listen. And as I was watching MSNBC, and even some of the progressive hosts at Free Speech TV that seem very, very giddy about this, I just said to her, do you think that, you know, the news here is a little too excited? Oh, that's interesting, because Earl said he signed off. I was able to sign in. I couldn't get signed in until a good 5 minutes into the program. Earl ran over. So it's me with music in the background? Is that what we're saying? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess it's going to add a new dimension to the show.
It'll keep me from getting kicked off or silenced.
There you go.
Well, there's a lot of noise under me right now. How do you say enterprise in Spanish? Come on, you don't get that one? Oh, that was funny. So I thought MSNBC was way too giddy about this. Because here's the bottom line.
It cleared up now. I'm sorry.
That's funny. No, I think that's funny.
Right,
Think about it.
Good.
Yeah, how do you say enterprise in Spanish? That's what we were. We were a cruise ship for a while. That was awesome. I think it's funny. It doesn't stress me. It doesn't stress me. We're human beings. It all happens. It ain't a biggie. I'm good. It's good.
It's the USS, Cerritos.
Yeah. California class.
Like from lower decks. There you go.
I only get stressed about it now when I got a big guest lined up or when we got a big show lined up. That stresses me. If it's you and I, we do so many of these shows on our own now. If something happens, somebody forgets to click something and we can't get in right away, I don't stress about it anymore. It just happens. We're all family. We're all human. Things happen. It's fine. I tend to only get stressed now when there's a big guest coming. But anyway, let me get back to this. These polls are indicative. They do tell us that a solid majority of Americans, between 6 and 7 and 10, 60 to 70%, do not approve of a single thing that this regime is doing. Literally not a thing. And I thought MSNBC, CNN, some other progressive hosts, the Times, Post, all got a little too giddy about this, because here's the bottom line. 60 to 70% of the population might hate everything this regime is doing. It's not going to stop them. Congress has, for all intent and purpose, completely acquiesced all of its constitutional powers to the executive branch. The executive branch is now made routine, ignoring the judicial branch. In fact, levying legal attacks on the judicial branch by now arresting a judge. And believe me, she's only the first. There will be more. So this isn't going to change anything. Might it change the hearts and the votes of some Republicans in purple districts who are facing re-election next year? Maybe. Except that their leadership has again rolled over and showed its belly and completely acquiesced to Trump and the executive branch. I heard it reported this morning that between 60 and 65% of Project 2025 has already been implemented. Think of that. 600 of the 912 pages, roughly 2/3, has already been implemented. We're 100 days in. Can you imagine the massive effort and time it will take if by some electoral miracle the Democratic candidate in 2028 does become president? The restoration of the federal government will take years. It always takes less time to destroy than to build. So I'm with you on these polls. I don't approve of a damn thing this regime. Sorry. Oh boy, my body still fights me occasionally. If I get my breathing wrong, everything goes. I get spasms down here if I don't get my breathing all perfect, which I can't do when you're talking. You just can't. I'm with the 60 or 70%. I'm part of that 60 to 70% that doesn't agree with a damn thing that this regime is doing. And by the way, the media has taken to routinely referring to this second administration as a regime. Can't be 100% sure, but I think George and I started that one. I think we may have actually started that. I'm the first person that I know of in all of the progressive media that I absorb to routinely call this a regime. Which is what...
it wasn't an inauguration, it was an installation.
It was an installation.
Because he never put his hand on the Bible.
He broke the oath from the minute he drew breath to say it. But I don't know, what do you think out there? Very shallow audience tonight. But what do you think? Should we be all giddy about this? That between 60 and 70%, again, depending on the issue, 60 to 70% of your fellow Americans are just as pissed off as you are? Or do we come to the realization that it really doesn't matter that much? Because it's not going to stop them from completing the implementation of Project 2025. Congress no longer functions. It no longer functions by choice. It has stepped aside at the behest, at the direction, at the threats of the executive branch. The parts of the judicial branch that are trying to uphold the Constitution are either being ignored, threatened with violence, death, or arrest. And then there's this little nugget. Before I reset the program and invite you all yet again to be part of the program, there is a military base outside of San Diego. It's right along the San Diego is right on the border with Mexico. There's a military base there. I'm going to ask George to do some quick searching because I heard this story a couple times today and it just didn't stick in my brain, but I wanted to bring it up because I think it's very indicative of where we are in this country right now. I don't remember the name of it. Trump, by executive order, expanded the boundaries of that military base. It now runs a strip of land all the way across to the Arizona border. What it allows is for federal troops to be on our border and operate within our country. A direct violation of the Posse Comitatus Act from the Civil War. That said that professional American soldiers, quote-unquote professional soldiers, not the National Guard, not the reserves, but the actual on-duty armed forces would not operate within American boundaries. This executive order overrides that. It ignores it. It breaks that law. Is this just the beginning? Is this just the beginning before we see federal troops on every street corner in this country, especially in blue states and blue cities? Or am I overreacting? You can tell me if you think I'm overreacting as well. 8:18 here, TKE tonight, the 29th of April, 2025. The next time George and I talk to you will be May. My goodness, it will be May. May Day. May 1st, protests around the country. In fact, I don't know if I will get to go to them. I have a couple of doctors that day, and I had them scheduled before I knew about all these May Day protests, so I don't know if I'll be able to go to any of these protests, but I'm going to try. Big hello in the chat to Randall, as always, to Donna, and to General Gambit in the chat. This is TKE tonight for the 29th of April 2025. We are live right now on the Facebook pages of Hot101.net, the TCP Media Group, Ghost Claw Productions, and Our Revolution, Pennsylvania. Very excited actually here in the Lehigh Valley. Bernie Sanders is bringing his Fight the Oligarchy tour to Stabler Arena on the campus of Lehigh University on Saturday. Kristen and I did actually register. I don't know if we're actually going to be able to go, but we did register, so we're hoping to see Bernie on Saturday. Maybe they'll put a big screen up outside the arena. We could sit outside if the weather's decent or something like that. I'm not sure, but hopefully it'll be streamed. It's funny, we could walk to Stabler from here, but I don't know if we're going to get in. You would think we could get in because we live close. We're also live, of course, on our home group Facebook page for all things that surround our program. That Other Side of Information. It's also the name of our YouTube channel, That Other Side of Information. We are live there right now as well, and on the YouTube channel of GCPR, Ghost Club Productions Radio. The audio of the program, of course, blasting around the globe on 2 internet radio stations, hot101.net. Our name is our web address. If you can connect to the internet anywhere below, on, or above Earth with any type of device, a desktop, a laptop, a tablet, a phone, you can listen to hot101.net, and you can listen for free. You can also use our apps, Apple App Store for Apple devices, Google Play Store for the Android devices, and the TuneIn Radio app. And of course, you can tell Alexa to play hot101.net. Ghost Claw Productions Radio, GCPR.live. We are there live as well and blasting around the globe. You can listen to us 100% for free at our website, GCPR.live. We have a fully functional Android app with an Apple app on the way, and you can listen to us again. This is not a small thing, by the way, folks. You can listen to us completely 100% for free. Of course, you can donate. We happen to have a Patreon. I know most of the shows on GCPR have Patreons. You can donate and support the shows and keep them running and keep the technology running, keep the internet on, but you can also listen 100% for free as well. It's entirely up to you. Do we want your support? Of course we do. Do we want advertisers? Oh, more than you can imagine. So you can support the program. But you also don't have to if you can't. You can listen 100% for free. A special hello to the listeners and viewers from outside the United States as well. The analytics, of course, show that we have significant listenership both on Hot 101 and GCPR from outside the country. We actually share the program on Facebook to a couple of Facebook groups that are based outside the United States, and they're kind enough to allow us to do it. And we do have listeners and viewers outside the United States, and we send you a special hello as well. If you're listening on Facebook Live or YouTube and you are outside the United States, please drop a little something in the chat to say hello and let us know where you're listening. I know where Randall and Gambit and Donna are, but if you happen to be catching us on Facebook and you can drop us any kind of comment, or if you're watching on either of the 2 YouTube channels, drop us a comment. Just let us know where you are. I'd be terribly, terribly curious to know where you're listening. 267-227-9189 if you want to call in. 267-227-9189. So we're 100 days in. How are you feeling, everybody? How do you enjoy living in a fascist country? Feels different, doesn't it? How do you enjoy living in a country where the executive branch no longer gives a flying you-know-what about what the Article 1 or the Article 3 branch of government thinks, feels, acts? This is where we are now. And just because between 6 and 7 out of 10 Americans disapprove of everything this regime is doing, it doesn't mean it's going to change. It doesn't mean it's going to change. Trump regime has absolutely no impetus whatsoever to listen to you or to care about what you think. It's possible that your individual members of Congress, your 2 senators and your member of the House of Representatives, might possibly care about what you care about. I'm incredibly biased. There's no question. I'm as progressive as they come. I'm a Democrat. I'm a member of the Democratic Party. I'm a state committee representative within the Pennsylvania State Democratic Party. And I am proud of it. And I have been my entire life. I don't think there's a single Republican I can think of that I have voted for. So I do happen to think that you're... Come on, damn it! How many times do I have to click on the flippin' thing? Bloody... God above.
Hey, you know what?
Absolutely hellfire. God above. How many times do I have to click on a...
I don't know.
Anyway, my point is, I'd like to think that your local Democratic official cares about what you think. The history of the party and the performance of the party as a legislative body shows you that they do. Republicans in purple districts, Republicans who are in districts that may have been won by Vice President Harris or President Biden, they better start caring about what you think. But they have also acquiesced all their power to Trump. This Congress does nothing. I think they're off again this week. They're not even... The House, I don't think, is meeting again until... They might even be off until the middle of May. But I could have that wrong. I want to say that straight out. I could have that wrong because I'm working from memory. Well, I mean, they're not even meeting. The committees are not meeting. They're not talking legislation. They're not drafting legislation. They're not doing anything. Well. But then again, that was the point of all of this. Was to they're doing a hell of a job at doing nothing. But that was the point of all of this. This modern fascist Trump Republican Party is not about governing. It's about anti-governing. It's about destroying government, not building it, not leading, not solving problems. So what do you all think? Between 6 and 7 of you, out of all 10 of us across this country, we don't approve of a damn thing this regime is doing. Does it matter? Does that make you feel better? Does it make you feel worse? Go ahead, Randall.
Well, they are doing things.
Did you see that setup there? Did you see that fancy radio setup? I set you right up. I put the golf ball right on the tee for you.
Well, I'd like to get the money back that we've spent on him golfing almost every weekend since he's been in office.
Yeah, over $100 million worth so far. Yeah.
Anyway, getting back to his latest presidential proclamation of dictatorship, and that you talked about a little bit, and what he's done is there's a major Marine base in San Diego, and then in Arizona there's a base down by the border, and then there's one down by the border in in New Mexico. His executive order says that whole area is now part of a 150-mile long U.S. base.
He made it all federal land. Yes.
He made them all military. Military. They can police. If you trespass onto a military base, you are subject to arrest by the MPs. End of story. And that includes American citizens. And some people I've talked to, they are suggesting this is only the beginning of how he's going to slowly but surely put our armed forces on American streets. And we know what that means. We have to know what that means.
It could very well be a first step. That's why I was asking the question. It could very well be a first step.
I believe it is a first step. Okay. I just wanted to call in about that. And
how are you feeling, my friend? You sound tired.
I've been a doctor all day. I saw a cardiologist. I'm a mess. I'm a mess.
Can I just if I could just tell you this quick? This is stupid. It's such a stupid story. But sometimes I just tell stupid stories on here because every now and then we also need to smile and have a giggle. I've had more scans of my heart, my lungs, my esophagus, my kidneys, my spleen, which is now no longer there, my pancreas, which a chunk is no longer there now. But so many different ultrasounds and scans and all this. But especially the ones that I've had of my heart. I've had some of the most lovely technicians, male and female, younger and older. And usually at the end of every one, I use the same joke. Because, the techs, the people who are doing the scans will never tell you what they saw. even though they could probably read that test just as well as any doctor. They never tell you, right? They just say, well, I just take the pictures, I don't read the pictures, right? They tell you that all the time. But I can tell you that the pictures are really good. Okay, awesome. You can't tell me, the doctor has to tell me. That's fine. That's fine. But I use the same joke at the end of every heart scan, and I said, well, I usually look at, especially the younger ones who I guess don't get the humor of it or the sarcastic humor of it. And I say to them, okay, I understand that you can't tell me exactly what you found, but you did find a heart in there, is that correct? And they'll just stare at me like I'm nuts. And then sometimes I have to repeat it. And I say, I'm just checking. I know you can't tell me if you found a heart defect or something like that. I know you can't tell me that. I get that. That's up to the doctor to do. I said, but can you at least tell me if my heart is there? Did you see a heart? And they just look at me like I have green skin. Or George will get the Star Trek reference. Like I have green skin. Or like
right.
And I'm like, and a couple of the texts I've had to say, did you see a heart? And then it clicks and they laugh. Some of them get it right away.
Right.
But some are like, they're just in another word. They just don't get it. And I always think it's kind of funny. But then again, I'm very simplistic.
You should have asked them about the Doctor Who reference and said,
did you see two hearts?
Just one in there?
I might try that.
That's
a great point. That's a great point. That's a great point.
Anyway,
say, you only saw one? But yeah. Anyway, go ahead, sir. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I saw the cardiologist now. I had an echo today before I saw him. This is the second time I've seen a cardiologist. And then next Monday, I got to go to our only hospital left here, the Riddle, to get non-stress because I can't do a treadmill because my COPD is so bad.
Right.
And getting surgery, my first right cataract removed this Friday. And so my calendar, almost every day this whole month, is penciled in with some doctor or some procedure going forward. So, yeah, I'm just falling apart. But anyway, I'm going to let you go, Jeff. But thank you for your concern. And you be good. You be good well, too.
We'll try to stay out of trouble.
All right. Good night, folks. Bye.
All right. Bye, Randall. I want to let's see what the big I did want to talk about the Canadian elections. If you saw the acceptance speech or the victory speech by Prime Minister Carney, you know that he's not fooling around. The way that Congress has given away all of its constitutional authority to this administration, to this regime, Prime Minister Carney is having none of it. In his victory speech, he talked about how the United States has betrayed Canada, how Canada can no longer count on the United States as an ally, but also does not in any way want to see the United States as an adversary, but that we can't be trusted. Trump's tariffs and these trade wars have been started with all of the nations that we have been allies with since the end of World War II. Nations that have helped us keep the peace for the most part, or at least certainly kept the peace in Europe until 3 years ago. And he's not having it. He also reiterated his campaign promise that, I'm going to butcher the quote. Like, I'm really going to butcher the quote. And I don't think I can find it very quickly. But let me... this is from the Associated Press from about 4 hours ago. No, sorry. Let me take that back. Yeah, no, about 4 hours ago. They use Greenwich Mean Time on these articles. I have no idea why they do that. But about 4 hours ago. Written by Jill Colvin and Rob Gillies. Headline, takeaways from Canada's election. America's northern ally rejects Trump after he dominates the race. The single biggest campaign issue in the Canadian elections was Trump himself and everything that he has said about making Canada part of the United States. Trump's incredibly idiotic statement, like just vapid of knowledge, just powerfully ill-informed, trying to tell the Canadian people, why wouldn't you want to be part of the United States? You'll have lower taxes, you have a better military. The Canadians have free health care. They have free education through the doctorate level. And by the way, their military is just fine. Thank you very much. Canadians fought and won many a battle during World War II to free the continent from the Nazis. Do they have the size military we do? No, because they don't have the population we have. In fact, if I am correct, Canada, its land mass in proportion to its population, it is the largest country on Earth with the smallest population. When proportionate for the total number of residents to just the land mass, that's the most disparate proportion, I believe, on Earth. Dateline Toronto. Canada's federal election was the first major test of Trump's influence on the affairs of a longtime U.S. ally since he returned to power 100 days ago. And he lost it badly. Trump's attacks on Canadian sovereignty outraged voters, while the trade war he launched threatened to upend the economy of a nation dependent on U.S. trade. That reversed the fortune of the Liberals, who had been expected to be shown the door by an electorate weary of their decade in power, but instead cast themselves as fighting for Canada's very existence. Conservative Party leader Pierre Poilievre, and I think I might be saying that correctly, believe it or not, Poilivre, Poilievre, I believe is how we say that, who shares some similarities with Trump style-wise, appeared months ago to be a shoo-in to become Canada's next prime minister. Now, he's out of his own seat in Parliament. Now remember, parliamentary systems do not work the same way as ours. We have a direct election for President of the United States. Parliamentary systems do not have direct elections for Prime Minister. They vote for ministers. They vote for representatives in Parliament. Whatever the majority party is, the head of that party then becomes Prime Minister. Keir Starmer is an MP. He's a Minister of Parliament. He has a district, a parliamentary district in the United Kingdom that he represents. Because he is the head of his party, he is Prime Minister. Mark Carney is the same thing. He was Mark Carney has a parliamentary district. He has constituents. He has a local office that his constituents can go visit. But because he is the head of the Liberal Party being tantamount, not exact comparison, but tantamount to the Labour Party in the UK, which I think is a much closer comparison, the Labour Party of Australia, the Labour Party of New Zealand, and to a slightly lesser extent the Democratic Party here in the United States. Mr. Carney has a legislative district. He has an actual parliamentary district, but because he is the head of the party, he's prime minister. That's how parliamentary systems work, a little different than what we have here. Elections Canada said 68.5% of eligible voters cast a ballot, the highest turnout since 1993. If 68.5% of Americans had voted in 2024, Kamala Harris would be president. Period. And in all likelihood, Democrats would have control of Congress. Well, probably the House. I can't guarantee the Senate, but probably the House. The Liberal victory on Monday energized other American allies under pressure from Trump and newly empowered Prime Minister Mark Carney, who emerges with a new mandate to take a tough line against the U.S. in trade negotiations. I'm going to butcher the quote from Mark Carney, and I can't seem to find it here in this article, and I don't want to keep scrolling through it. I've had some dead air moments here already on the program, but Prime Minister Carney said, and I'm paraphrasing because I'm not going to tell you I'm quoting him because I'll get it wrong, so I will say that I'm paraphrasing him. Said the U.S. wants our land, they want our natural resources, and they've threatened to take both, and they will never do it. And the crowd went wild. And the voters of Canada went wild and supported him and voted for him in droves. Now, he's going to have to form a coalition government. The Liberals squeaked just under the wire of a parliamentary majority with which they would not have to form a coalition. They're going to have to form a coalition government. But they just missed it. They didn't miss it by much. Also from the Associated Press today, about 8-ish hours ago, 9-ish hours ago, UPS to cut 20,000 jobs, close some facilities as it reduces amount of Amazon shipments it handles. This is by Michelle Chapman. UPS is looking to slash about 20,000 jobs and close more than 70 facilities as it drastically reduces the amount of Amazon shipments it handles. The package delivery company said Tuesday that it anticipates making the job cuts this year. It anticipates closing 73 leased-owned buildings by the end of June. UPS said that it's still reviewing its network and may identify more buildings to be shuttered. In January, UPS announced it had reached a deal with Amazon, its biggest customer, to lower its volume by more than 50% by the second half of 2026. During UPS fourth quarter earnings conference call in January, the president of the company said the company had partnered with Amazon for almost 30 years, and then when its contract came up this year, UPS decided to reassess their relationship. Amazon doing more of the deliveries by itself. But what it shows you, what I think this article kind of shows you, is that even though UPS profits are very, very strong, even on the anticipation of a revenue drop, the first thing they go after is labor. Do they take trucks off the road? They go after labor. They cut jobs. And yes, they're going to close facilities. We read that part. But what it shows is the interconnectivity, I think, of this economy. As Amazon continues to deliver more and more and more of its own packages with its own distribution net, they don't need UPS in the same way. They need UPS for returns. Amazon doesn't pick up a return at your door. They'll drop the package at your door. They make it harder for you to return things because they don't want you to return things. Because they don't want to have to give you credit back. It's an interconnected government, or economy. Duh. Blah. I should say the right words. I'm on the radio. Here is one act that is actually being worked on by Congress, by the House. Congress, Randall is right, Congress has not been completely idle, but damn close. Like really close to doing nothing. One act they did work on, and it's bipartisan, by the way, is the Take It Down Act. And maybe, since it's 8:45, maybe this is a way to end on somewhat of a good note. We always try to end on a good note when possible. I know our Sunday program, I ended on a pretty damn depressing note. But we always try to end on a decent note when we can. So I will try to end this on a somewhat of a good note. Headline, Take It Down Act addressing non-consensual deepfakes and revenge porn passes. But what is it? This is written by Barbara Ortuatay. I hope I said that correctly, ma'am. Ortutay, author for the Associated Press. This was posted today around 8 p.m. Congress has overwhelmingly approved bipartisan legislation to enact stricter penalties for the distribution of non-consensual intimate imagery, sometimes known as, quote-unquote, revenge porn. Two folks, I imagine it could be more, are in a relationship. They video themselves during the most intimate of moments. They break up. One party in the relationship isn't terribly happy about it. They post this stuff online to shame the other party. Revenge porn. Congress took action against it today. And they did it in a bipartisan way, which is pretty cool. It is still possible. It's not impossible. It's only impossible if we make it impossible. Bipartisan legislation can still happen. You know, Trump's talked a lot about common sense in this second regime of his. Well, this one was common sense. Known as the Take It Down Act, the bill is now headed to Trump's desk for his signature. The measure was introduced by Senator Ted Cruz, a Republican from Texas, and Senator Amy Klobuchar, a Democratic senator from Minnesota, and later gained the support of First Lady Melania Trump. Critics of the bill, which address both real and artificial intelligence-generated imagery, said the language is too broad and could lead to censorship in the First Amendment issues. Well, isn't that amazing? They're worried about the First Amendment when it comes to revenge porn, but not when it comes to jailing and silencing and suing the hell out of the media. What is the Take It Down Act? The bill makes it illegal to knowingly publish, quote-unquote, or threaten to publish intimate images without a person's consent, including AI-created deep fakes. It also requires websites and social media companies to remove such material within 48 hours of notice from the victim or a victim. The platforms must also take steps to delete duplicate content. Many states have already banned the dissemination of sexually explicit deepfakes or revenge porn, but the Take It Down Act is a rare example of federal regulators imposing on internet companies. Who supports this act? The Take It Down Act has garnered strong bipartisan support and has been championed by Melania Trump, who lobbied on Capitol Hill in March, saying it was heartbreaking to see what teenagers, especially girls, and she's not wrong, go through after they are victimized by people who spread such content. President Trump is expected to sign it into law. Cruz said the measure was inspired by Elliston Berry and her mother, who visited his office after Snapchat refused for nearly a year to remove an AI-generated deepfake of the then 14-year-old. Meta, which owns and operates Facebook, supports the legislation. I wanted to see what the vote was. The vote in the House was 430 something, like 431 I think, to 2, with some members missing. And I don't know who the 2 members are that voted against it. If I had those names before we got off the air, I'd be thrilled. But I don't know who voted against. There were 2 members of the House of Representatives who actually voted against this. They actually voted to protect the dissemination of revenge porn. I'd love to know who the hell that was. I don't know who it was, and I'm not going to be able to find it, unfortunately. But anyway. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to find it. Darn it. I really wish I could find that quickly, but I don't think I can. Tomorrow is the 50th anniversary of the fall of Saigon. April 30th, 1975. This article, written by Mark Thiessen and Julie Watson of the Associated Press. For some Americans, headline, for some Americans, the end of the Vietnam War after Saigon fell 50 years ago is still deeply felt. This is from Dateline Anchorage, Alaska. Vietnam War greatly impacted U.S. society, from the passage of the War Powers Resolution that restricts the president's abilities to send troops into extended combat without congressional approval. Well, that might come into play again very soon, with the expansion of this military base and troops on American soil. To the cementing of college campuses as centers of student activism. Millions of U.S. troops fought in Vietnam. For some Americans, the war that effectively ended with the fall of Saigon 50 years ago, on Wednesday, April 30, 1975, continues to shape their lives. So tomorrow is the 50th anniversary of the fall of Saigon. I do happen to believe that, and I think it's pretty well evidenced. I don't think I'm speculating here or saying anything out of turn, that our Vietnam vets are viewed in a completely different light from when they first returned home. The shaming, sometimes the outright violence that they had to suffer when they first returned home, still, to me, is inexcusable. The on-the-ground troops were not dictating American foreign policy, and for a large portion, they didn't want to be there either. The treatment of them upon their return was despicable. And I do think that that's turned around. I do. Now, if you're out there and you're a Vietnam vet and you think I'm wrong about that, tell me. But I think time has healed much of that. But it is interesting, there's so many different historical dates that we tend to celebrate. Fall Saigon doesn't seem to be one of them. But it is a significant date to keep in mind, and one that we should not ignore. The entire Vietnam experience was folly. The Chinese could not conquer Vietnam. The French couldn't do it. The British couldn't do it. The Japanese couldn't do it. Why we thought we could. The entire escapade was folly. Not to mention that it is documented that President Kennedy was going to... The first American advisors went to Vietnam at the order of President Eisenhower. Kennedy, when he first came into office, increased that number. It's a well-known historical fact that Eisenhower and Kennedy hated each other. Eisenhower especially did not like Kennedy because he was young. He didn't think he had enough experience. Thought he was arrogant. But the two men did talk. And they ended up talking more and more as the Kennedy administration progressed. They talked about the Cuban Missile Crisis a lot. One of the things that they also talked about was Vietnam. We all know about Eisenhower's exit speech, goodbye speech, talking about the military-industrial complex. He was talking about Vietnam. He was talking about a permanent and perpetual state of war, so that billions and billions and billions of dollars could be spent on arms. Eisenhower and Kennedy spoke about Vietnam. And and Eisenhower warned him to get out. Don't keep sending more. Get out. And Kennedy was going to get out. And it has been speculated that it is one of the reasons why he was assassinated. Instead of pulling all of our advisors out of Vietnam and never getting into the war in the first place, we spent hundreds of billions of dollars that went into the pockets of the military-industrial complex. Oh, and by the way, also killed 50,000 Americans and hundreds of thousands of Vietnamese. It's a big date tomorrow, the fall of Saigon. It's a big thing. I'll be interested to see throughout television tomorrow, the History Channel and Discovery and maybe National Geographic, PBS, what programming might hit television tomorrow, if any, to remember the 50th anniversary of the fall of Saigon. It'll be interesting to see. George, we got a couple minutes left. Any thoughts that you want to share? And can you confirm for me that I don't know who's on after us?
I think it's just conversations with T. Nathan, but I'm not sure.
Oh, there's nothing on after us?
I don't think the two people who voted against the Take It Down bill was Thomas Massey and
Kentucky.
Ehrlich Burlinson.
I don't know who the other one is. Massey of Kentucky is just
he's
a flippin' weird dude. I'll tell you what.
And Eric Burleson.
I don't know who he is. From where? I'm going to guess Republican. From where? If you might have it there.
Yeah,
I know Massey is from Kentucky. Massey is part of the Freedom Caucus. He's a weird dude. He's a strange individual.
Burleson, serving U.S. Representative from Missouri's 7th Congressional District.
Doesn't surprise me. Missouri. Yeah, that doesn't shock me, I gotta be honest. So there's no one on GCPR after us?
I do not think so.
Okay.
Tuesday.
I have a feeling I understand why that is, and I don't think it's... I think I know why that is. Because I think I know who's supposed to be on, but they're not on anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. But that doesn't mean that we're going to sit here with you all for the rest of the night. You don't get any more free stuff out of me. I'm tired. I'm done for tonight. I'm kidding. I mean, actually, I'm not kidding. I'm done. Anyway, you have been watching and listening to TKE Tonight for the 29th of April, 2025. The show has been brought to you by Smooth California, smoothca.online, smoothca.online. Smooth California can help you create a healthy skincare lifestyle. Smooth California is a family-owned skincare formula whose purpose is to promote a healthy skincare lifestyle. Smooth California is a healthy alternative to commercial products filled with chemicals and man-made additives that not only do damage to your skin, but do damage to your body. Folks, when you put that stuff on your skin, those chemicals and additives and all of that, it leaches through the skin into the bloodstream. It's not good for you. Smooth California products are tallow-based, made with 100% natural ingredients without preservatives or additives. We strive to make sure your skin stays healthy and smooth. Smooth California. smoothca.online. SMOOTHCA.online. We have been live on the Facebook pages of, and we hope you will support the Facebook pages of Hot101.net, the TCP Media Group, Our Revolution Pennsylvania, and Ghost Claw Productions. Please visit and become a member of our home group Facebook page, That Other Side of Information. Please become a subscriber to our YouTube channel, That Other Side of Information. See how this works? It all sounds the same. Makes it easier for you to remember. Like, follow, subscribe. You know the deal. There's 4 of them. What am I missing? Like, share, follow, subscribe. There's usually 4 of them. I was missing one of them. It might not. It sounds so. I hate asking you to do it. I kind of do. It sounds so trite and so ridiculous, but that's how programs like this, stations like Hot 101, stations like GCPR survive. Like, follow, subscribe, share, all of it. Our plan is to return to you on Thursday evening from 8 p.m. I always say plan because you never know what the heck is going to happen. Life happens sometimes. All the computers could blow up. I could be in the hospital again. God knows what could happen. But anyway, following us on hot101.net, the music returns. And let me please remind you that caliente101.net is up and running. Spanish language, Spanish music. If that is your flavor, you now have the #1 place to go. That's caliente101.net. Music returns on hot101.net for you all. Right now, we will see you Thursday on hot101.net from 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, everybody there, have a great night and please take care of yourselves. For our listeners and friends at GCPR, we're all done. You got a little bit of a break now. Walk the dog, get some popcorn, have a snack, maybe a little ice cream, whatever floats your boat. Conversations with T. Nathan from 11 p.m. Thomas returns tomorrow morning for... Wednesday has a name. Oh, for goodness sake. I forget what Wednesday is now. Oh! I almost forgot. As long as Thomas can figure out how to get me on, I am scheduled to join Thomas for Flag on the Play Friday. I'm going to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to get up before that and make myself presentable, to be honest with you. But I'm going to get up and do the program with Thomas on Friday. That's the plan. That's the plan. Anything could happen. We might have tech problems. He's going to try to figure out how to send me an invite from Streamlabs. God knows that probably won't be easy. But that's the plan, is for me to do the show with Thomas on Friday for Flag on the Play Friday. That would be, of course, the Sound of Coffee. So conversations with T. Nathan tonight from 11. Sound of Coffee returns tomorrow, Wednesday, 8 a.m. The Friday version of Sound of Coffee, Flag on the Play Friday. This ugly mug, is going to be the co-host with Thomas for Friday's program. TKE tonight is scheduled to return to you on Thursday from 8 and Sunday from 6. We will not be here Mother's Day. That's the plan for now. So for everybody at GCPR... Oh, I guess I won't be here Thursday night. Business meeting. That's how I'm doing it. That's how we're writing it off, too. Can we write that off as a business expense? Hopefully, that'd be nice.
I don't know whether
we should try.
If we discuss whether
we talk business the whole time. Anyway,
if we discuss Smooth California or
correct, or GCPR,
soap or something like that,
or GCPR, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
For Thomas and Gambit, who is in the chat tonight, which I appreciate very, very much, him listening in. For Gilbert and everybody at GCPR, we will see you again Sunday. I can't imagine that we will be here Thursday, unless I can get myself back in time. I mean, how long are we going to be? I don't know. Well, if it's actual dinner at dinner time, yeah. Well, regardless, anyway, we'll sort it out. Keep an eye on the Facebook page. We'll let you know what's happening. Conversations from T. Nathan at 11. We'll see you again Thursday, Sunday. Take care. And for all of our video watchers, thanks for being here with us as well. We'll see you Thursday and Sunday. Keep an eye on the Facebook page for any updates or news about the program if the schedule should have to change. Until then, for everybody here at the program, George and Lynn, Kristen, Daisy the dog, who you heard from early in the program, a lot and very loudly, I'm Jeff Kennedy. Thanks so much for being part of the program and supporting us. We will see you again Thursday is the current plan. Again, keep an eye on the Facebook page. We'll let you know if anything changes. We'll see you Sunday from